Over the past 8 months, the Jeep has had many modifications to it. It looks way different from when we got it from the islands. Now, it is time to share with you guys what has been working for me, what modifications I have been loving, and which ones may not be working anymore. So stay tuned with me, guys.
Welcome back to Rhino Exploration. My name is Zach, and yes, we are back in the office, guys. Two reasons. One, it is super windy out there. You can't hear me. And two, it's also about 100 degrees here in Denver today. So I wanted nothing to do with outside, sitting there trying to talk to you guys and trying to shout over the wind. It just wasn't a win-win situation. But today we are going to take the time to give you guys that update that I promised you all. That kind of a 6-month update for most of the products that I am running on the Jeep. Some of these I've been running for a couple of years now. Some of these have been around the 6-month mark, and then a few of them have been on the Jeep for just a short period of time. But I wanted to update you guys on how they are going. How are they working? Do I still like them? Do I still use some of them? Because certain things will be a little shocking that I actually stopped using and either came back to, or I just don't use anymore. But let's get into it, guys. As you guys know, I run various different products on the Jeep to fit different needs of mine throughout the course of upgrading the Jeep up to this point. Some were sponsors. We did partnerships to where I collaborated with them, did a video, things like that. And some of the products, they worked really great. And some of them, I didn't really care for them after using them for a while. And then there are other products that I bought personally, which is about 90% of the products on the Jeep I bought personally because I found I needed them. As you guys know, I have been upgrading the Jeep little by little as we go because I am learning what it is that I need on my rig. Because there's tons of things I want, but do I actually need them? Will they actually work for me? It's all been a game of learning as I have been going. And we're to the point now where it's been about 6 months or more for most of these products, and I wanted to update you guys because a lot of you guys want to know how they are working. So, and starting with a product that I haven't truly reviewed for you guys. I've done install videos of these products, but I never actually did a review of how they're working and how I like them for you all. I've just kind of left them there, and that would be the KC HILITES lights that I run on the Jeep. Now I run the slim lights off of the front bumper, and I also run their Cyclone 2 rock lights underneath the Jeep and their Cyclone 2 lights underneath the hood as well. All three were, different kits. They all hooked up nicely, and I have them all connected to my auxiliary switches. These lights have been working great. I've had no issues, minus the rock lights, which I'll get to in a second, with these lights whatsoever. They work fabulous. They help light up the trail if I am doing, typically not night runs, but if I wake up early like I did when I was in Moab, going down the trail, having that extra light just flooding the trail, showing me any little obstacles, because as you guys know, at night when you're wheeling, depth perception completely changes and minor little things become much harder because you can't see them as well, and they work absolutely fabulous. The lights under the hood, I've had zero issues with. They work great, and it lights up the engine bay perfectly, so I can see all sorts of things I'm doing, whether it's out on the trail checking something or in the garage. Just that extra light under the hood just helps, so I'm not holding a flashlight trying to see what it is that I'm looking for. Now the rock lights, they've been working good. I did have an issue with 2 of the rock lights after I came back from Moab. I don't know what kind of happened with them, but some of the LEDs within the lights basically exploded. They completely exploded, so 2 of the 6 rock lights stopped working. Now KC is awesome. They are not a sponsor of the channel, but they're awesome. I reached out to them and told them my situation, sent them photos, and they were able to hook me up with 2 new rock lights to stick in there, you know, to replace them with. And since then they have been perfect. I have used them several times coming into camp in the evenings when it gets a little darker, especially here in Colorado. You know, once you get deep into the woods, sometimes that light, just though it's in the sky, you don't see it as well on the ground. Just flip the switch and I can just see really, really well. And I've actually been loving them. That amber light on the ground, it just helps immensely with seeing. And also if you're driving at night and I'm on the trail, turning those on, it helps with that depth perception issue as I was talking about. But the KC HILITES have been working flawlessly. I am absolutely pleased with those lights. Okay, sticking with everything outside of the Jeep, let's move on to the Smittybilt Winch. I love this winch. It has rescued about 4 different people and myself. It has been absolutely flawless. I've had 0 issues with this winch whatsoever. It is completely waterproof. There's no rust anywhere on it. And it has pulled, like I said, people out of different situations, including myself, and it has never given me any grief whatsoever. And I'm so happy with this winch. And it has just been perfect, guys. Like I said, it's worked flawlessly every time I flip the switch, I plug in the cord. Even if I'm doing it, you know, wirelessly, it doesn't fail to miss a beat. It just works, and I am so happy. Because that's the one thing you don't want to break. You don't want a winch that's just going to give you problems or just start giving you issues after being used a couple times. But the Smittybilt Winch has been perfect. Moving alongside to the Jeep, another product that I've never reviewed for you guys. I didn't even do an install video on this. It just kind of magically appeared on my Jeep on one of my adventures, and they have been there since, and I've yet to truly talk about them to you guys. And that is the Fair Engraver Molle panel side storage things that are on the Jeep. Those big huge racks that I have sitting on the back windows of the Jeep. That is from Fair Engraver. I think I'm saying that correctly. You guys are saying the name, it appeared there on the screen. They have been perfect. They mount so easily, guys. I found them on Amazon. The link will be in the description. So the link to all these products will be in the descriptions. But these have been awesome. They work great for holding my, as you guys see, my traction boards, my shovel, if I want to mount some other things later on in the future. They're very versatile, and they fit nicely over those back windows. On the outside of the Jeep, you guys know storage is a massive commodity on any rig, especially a Jeep. And being able to put things on the outside of your rig really helps. And as you guys know, I don't run a roof rack. I don't have that space to hook things off to the side or on top of it. And this really is a great solution to just being able to mount things up on there. They stay out of the way, and I don't have to really worry about them. And they've never failed. They've never come loose on me after all the shaking and things. I've had these on there for like 5 months now. They have been perfect. I absolutely love them. I love the versatility of them all because I can change whatever's on there. Nothing is permanently in its spot that's sitting up there. I can just undo, you know, the bolts that I've put there and then hook up anything else. They are great. I've had no issues with them at all. The other thing that I've not had issues with since replacing them are the hood louvers on the Jeep. Those hood louvers from S&B work amazing. I love them. I get 0 water within my Jeep, and I love the fact that if I just remove the little caps on top of it when I'm on the trail, the heat just vents out from the engine so nicely. It helps keep the engine bay cooler when I'm on the trail, because you guys know I'm sitting there idling as you're crawling along. It gets hot under there, and so that really helps with venting it out and keeping cool air coming through as I'm moving. I've had no more issues with the water leaking, and that has been so awesome to not have, and the fact that they actually work versus the old ones. Guys, that issue has been gone, and I have been loving it for the past few months with that. Yes, I have my notes here. I'm keeping myself on track. Also, guys, the new wheels and tires, the Method race wheels and the Milestar Patagonia MTO2s, they have been great. Now, I'll do a whole big review on them later on. I've only had them on the Jeep for about a month now, and I have been wheeling them hard. I have been climbing mountains, taking them over boulders. I have been trying to put them in areas, and they are scratched up a bit, and they are working. They have been flawless. I've had no issues with the tires whatsoever. They grip really, really well, and the wheels have not lost the bead. I have been able to drop them down into the single digits, and I've been happy, guys. These have been working really, really well. Like I said though, I've only had them for about a month on the Jeep, so we will get into how they are later on down the road, because I still got a lot of different things. We haven't even done a true road trip with them yet to a different area to go exploring, but that is to come here in the next couple of weeks, so we will see how they do then. But for the wheeling that I've been doing here in Colorado so far, they've been great. All right, let's move into the Jeep now. As you guys know, with the Jeep on the inside, that is where most of the modifications have been happening to the Jeep, besides the outside. Honestly, this is where a lot of the meat and potatoes is of everything I've done. Now, let's start with the Tazer JL Mini. That I installed in the Jeep way back towards the beginning of the year, and I am very thankful that I did. One, it allowed me to basically take control of the Jeep's computer system a bit more. It allowed me to access features that typically aren't accessible unless you have a computer component for the Jeep, and being able to do that has really helped me out. When I switched over to having 35s, I was able to put that into the system through the Tazer, and it has recalibrated the speedometer, so that works correctly. It knows the correct tire size. Everything is been working really well, and I've had no issues with it, guys. It did have an update. I did have to unplug it, bring it up here, plug it in, update it, and plug it back in, and none of my settings were lost. After I unplugged it and plugged it back in, it just basically picked up where I left off, and I was able to mess with some of the updates that had come off it. But it has worked really, really well. Now, the one thing that I no longer use off of the Tazer is the passcode. There was a passcode that you could do when you turned on the Jeep. You had to input the passcode, and then you had like 30 seconds to input the passcode, and then you could drive the Jeep. Because if you didn't, then it would shut down the Jeep, lock up the brakes, and just set off the horn and make a massive light show happen because you didn't put in the passcode. I found that it wasn't super helpful. Like, it became more of a nuisance. I bet if you were daily driving your Jeep to and from work, it would be great. It helps as an extra guard against someone trying to take your rig. But for me, out on the trail, every time I stopped the Jeep and had to start it again, I had to remind myself to put in that passcode, because sometimes I'd forget. Or if you walked away from the Jeep and you had the key still in your pocket with the passcode set, it just became just frustrating and a bit chaotic trying to just keep doing that when I turn off the vehicle and come back. I stopped using that feature. That is about the only feature that I stopped using on the Tazer, which is okay. Moving right along, another part sort of with the computer components is that WindBooster. You guys will remember that throttle response programmer that I did a collaboration with. That I actually stopped using for a period of time. I found that I was using it, and I really, though there was a difference, I wasn't really using the product. Like, I didn't need a sport mode to make my Jeep move off the line faster, and the eco thing, like I said, was kind of funny and a prank, but I just found I didn't use it. So for like the past 4 months, I actually disconnected it. I left it in the Jeep, but I just disconnected it and just kept the Jeep normal. However, I have started to reuse it, and I found an actual true use for that product. When I put the 35s on, as you guys know, I have the 2-liter turbo in the Jeep, which has been flawless, mechanically happy. It's never given me an issue, and it does everything I ask. But when I threw the 35s on, boy, did that throttle think a lot. I mean, you press the gas and the damn thing sat there and said, "Are you sure? Oh, okay," and would go. I couldn't take it. So I said, basically I went, let's try an experiment. And I plugged the WindBooster back in. Night and day difference. The Jeep no longer thinks when I press on the throttle. It just goes like if it was normal. And I feel that the computer system for the throttle, throttle response was just, it didn't understand the coping with the 35s on there just because they were a little bit bigger. But now I have no more issues. It has not hesitated out on the trail. It hasn't hesitated out on the road, stopping and going from from stoplights. Just all the lag that was there before when I first put the 35s on, it's gone. So I have started using the WindBooster again, and I've been very happy. I've got it set, it stays set, and I don't really need to mess with that anymore because it just helps. And if I need to, I can easily do it right off my phone, as you guys know. And then the Auxbeam Switches, flawless. Like, literally, guys, they are some of the best auxiliary switches for your dollar that you can get. And they're right on Amazon. They're so easy to, install in your rig. They're easy to install things to this, to the connector box that runs to your switches. Guys, they are just perfect for your dollar, and they've never failed. I installed these about over a year ago or so in the Jeep, and flawless, guys. Absolutely flawless every single time. Another thing I installed in the Jeep years ago, this is actually one of the first things I installed in the Jeep. This is before I even started hanging out with you all. Oh my goodness, I love these things. The phone holder gets used on a daily basis, so does the GoPro mounts, and the tablet holder gets used when I am on the trail or on the road. Guys, they work amazing. My phone, anything I connect onto them that doesn't shake loose, it doesn't rattle, it doesn't move, and I've had zero issues with them whatsoever. They're super stable. I just love this product. And like I said, guys, I've been wheeling harder over the past few months, and we've been going all sorts of places. That is one thing that I don't really think about. I just climb in, I hook everything onto it, and I just forget about it because it doesn't give me any issue. It doesn't give me a reason to truly think about it. So if you guys haven't put some kind of mounting system in, phone mounting system in your Jeep, check out bullet point mounting systems because they are awesome. So my MIdland GMRS MXT 115 15 watt radio, guys, has been working great. I've been able to use it more and more frequently now, and I've had no issues whatsoever. I've had no issues hearing people, them hearing me. It just works really, really well. I'm super happy with it. If you guys don't have some kind of communications in your Jeep or in your rig in general, you need to get some form of communication. GMRS has now become the standard. Guys, get it. I have wheeled with some people that still don't have communications within their rig. So now I carry a handheld GMRS. So if I'm wheeling with, like on my 4-day adventure when I was wheeling with my dad, I was able to communicate to him when I was out of the rig. Or if I'm wheeling with someone that doesn't have a radio, I can give them that to use, and then I have comms with them, and then it's not a guessing game of what's happening next or having to always stop. So it's really helpful. So if we move to the back of the Jeep, where all my storage is, where my awesome new platform system that my dad and I built, which has been working amazingly. If we go back there, you guys will remember those Suparee bags. They are still in the Jeep. I still use them. I don't use them quite as much as I was before because now that I have the platform system, I've rearranged things. But they do work great, and the reason I leave them in the Jeep, once again, it is a storage commodity. The ability to put stuff in those bags and it's up out of the way is awesome. And I still put like my tire deflators and things in that bag because they are just really quick access. Just open the door, open them up, pull it out, deflate, put it all back. It works really well. And I can also store some other stuff in the other bag, like my toiletries and stuff. They're just more accessible. But I don't use them quite as much as I did before. But once again, it's kind of one of those items, it's in the Jeep, I don't really think about it, I just use it. And it doesn't give me issues. It doesn't come loose, it doesn't move around, it just does what it's supposed to do. And they work really well. And they're a great option, guys. Once again, if you need more storage in any rig, especially a Jeep, they're great. Something else are those Auxito light bars, those 4 light bars that I have in, you know, those various places in the back of the Jeep that provide light. Guys, absolutely fantastic. They work so well. It's just, I flip a switch, boom, got tons of light when I'm at camp. It allows me to see things. If it falls on the ground, I can see it. It helps so much. However, I do wish that I could change the color of the lights now. After using them for almost 8 months, being able to have that, you know, the LED white light, wonderful, love it. But I'd love to be able to turn it to like a red in the evening, you know, after I'm not using it as much. One, it'd provide a little more light at camp, but 2, it would stop with some of the bugs. You flip that switch, and boy, those bugs are just like, oh, hello, can I hang out too? And they are everywhere. But I love these lights. And then right along to the SetPower PT55, my 58 quart fridge. When I first got this fridge, guys, it worked. Like, I've had 0 issues right off the bat. I'm going to tell you, 0 issues with the fridge. It works perfectly every single time, and actually it works really well as just a cooler too. If you're just putting some stuff in there, it really keeps the whole area cool and insulated. Now, it does draw a ton of power like any fridge would from any kind of external battery source that you would use when you get to camp, unless you have, you know, a red arc system or something that's generating over 3,000 watt hours of power. It does have a tendency to drain the battery, but I expect that from any fridge. But otherwise, guys, this fridge works really well. I'm impressed. I have had that thing strapped down in the back of the Jeep. I've, you know, banged things against it. It has started, stopped running many times from my adventures, and everything works. It works fantastic as a freezer, though I mostly use it as to do fridges most of the time. So what I use it for, because honestly, I don't really take a whole lot of things that need to be frozen when I'm out on my adventures, but sometimes I do. But it has worked flawlessly, and now that I have my platform system, it lives full-time in the Jeep, guys. It lives 100% full-time in the Jeep. It does not come out anymore, and it has been working great. We have been in several days of, you know, either high 90s or very low 100-degree weather here in Denver, and it hasn't skipped a beat. It just keeps pounding away, running. It just works, guys. And it was, like I said, a super budget friendly fridge that competes with the rest. At least right now it is competing with the rest. Now we'll see how well it works, you know, later on down the road when we hit the year mark and when we go past it, we'll see. But at the moment, guys, that fridge works amazing. So if you guys are in the market for a fridge and you don't want to, you know, cough up a ton of money for a fridge, check out SetPower. Their new fridges work really well, and they, like I said, they have, what is it, 3 or 4 different size fridges. I just have the biggest one because when I go out on my adventures, I like to make sure I have tons of food because I eat a lot. Well, guys, that is it. That is it for this video. I hope you guys have found this helpful. I hope that if you guys were thinking about a product and you were waiting to see how it was going for me, I hope this helps. A lot of the products have been working really well. They haven't, you know, caught any flaws or anything like that. Like I said, I stopped using some for a while, started using them again, or I just don't use some of them as much as I used to. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Now help me out by hitting that subscribe button, guys. I have a goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and you guys are what is going to make that happen. You guys help build this channel up. As I grow, you guys are going to be growing as well, and I need your guys' help, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Also, links to everything I talked about today are in the description, as well as the links to my other social media platforms. journey doesn't stop when I flip off this camera, guys. I am constantly posting to him, so keep in the loop of what I've got going on. I'm kind of changing up my Instagram a little bit on how I'm doing it. I'm trying to keep it a little more relevant to what is happening at the moment, along with, you know, some past stuff that I've done as well. Kind of messing with it a little bit. But go ahead and check them out, guys. The other thing, if you want to help support the channel in other means other than subscribing, go ahead and hit the Patreon link below. I put some exclusive only things to Patreon that you can't get anywhere else. You won't find them on any of my platforms. You won't find them here. Waypoints, campsites, routes that I have done and built, and just some of the updates, like things like when I did the, you know, the hood louvers, and when I installed the racks on the back of the Jeep. I didn't really post them to you guys because they went there. So there's some exclusive only content that happens on Patreon, so go ahead and check that out, guys. Another thing to note, this week is going to be a little different. Typically every Wednesday I am posting you guys a video, and it's normally us either in the garage or talking about something, updates on some things like that, or reviews. And that is what this one is. But Friday normally is my adventure video. I'm going to apologize. We do not have an adventure video for this Friday. Mainly because I'm going to be going to Overland Expo Mountain West this week. That is this week. So I will be bringing you guys some live footage from Overland Expo Mountain West on Friday and things like that. And then the following week we will get right back into how everything is. So this coming Friday there will not be an adventure video. I do apologize, guys, but I'm trying to keep up with the times. And because last week I was on a vacation for a family, went to my sister's wedding, kind of messed up my needing to have my adventures. So things are coming, guys, but I will catch you all live on Friday. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.